Good morning. Whoops, let's see here. Are we on? Well, it's still loading up on YouTube. There it is. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. 10 o'clock, June 12th on Saturday. Should be another nice day. It's been a little hot, but any case, it's been a lot of the 80s days. Yesterday we hit the 90s, I think. Let's give it a couple minutes and we'll start the meditation, okay? That sound you hear is my air conditioning, and that will not be running during the meditation. Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's give it another minute or so here, and we'll start the meditation. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check to make sure. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Check to make sure the audio is working, and it is. So, hi, happy Saturday, and let's see. Anyone interested in the retreat on the weekend of August 27th through the 29th? It is in officially Detroit. It's 96 in Telegraph area, right by Livonia area. St. Vincent, no, St. Paul of the Cross. And I want to make sure that people know that the yoga is optional for the retreat. So if people don't want to do that, they can have some alone time. They can walk the paths. I'll probably have a massage therapist set up. So if you want to get a massage, you can do that. So, any case, just wanted to be clear on that. Somebody said they don't do yoga, so they weren't interested. So I want to be clear that yoga is optional. Everything's optional there. It's all about choice, right? So, okay, that's enough of that. Let's see here. Yeah, let's meditate. Pull this a little closer, make sure the audio is good here, and just taking in a nice deep breath. Just letting go of anything going on, any stress, any worries, letting go of all the past, all the past. You can visit that anytime you want, if you want, but let's not bring it into this meditation. Just let it go. And you don't really need to pick it up at all, but that's, of course, always your choice. And I also invite you just to let go of all your worries, which is really the fear of the unknown, of which, by the way, I think we've all experienced where our mind typically makes the situation much worse than it usually is. Now, occasionally we something ends up happening unexpectedly that's worse than what our mind thinks, but generally the mind makes everything way worse than it needs to be. So it's like we add all this unnecessary stress upon us simply because we don't have trust and faith in life and in God that it's all being brought to us exactly as it needs to. I was kind of becoming aware this morning about how busy our minds get, how busy my mind gets. And part of the reason it gets busy is because there's something that my person is not satisfied with. And so it looks to the mind for the solutions to satisfy whatever situation or problem that I think I have. And anytime we think we have a problem, a situation that we think needs to be different than what it is, by habit, based on our teachers, our parents, the ministers, rabbis, priests, all everybody's part of this the great illusion, the Maya, the veil of illusion that has been pulled over our eyes, and that is believing that our mind will solve the problems. And yes, the mind is useful, but not as our master and us its slave. The mind is a servant to us, to you, and to the truth of who you are. But unfortunately, it has really been bastardized, and we have glorified the mind as if it rules the roost. And for many people, it's the only roost they have. It's the only method they have, and most people think that their intelligence, their memory, all their solutions all come from the head, and they completely eliminate the heart. And I don't mean the physical heart, I mean the spiritual heart, where true intuition, true intelligence, true wisdom comes from. And the way we access that is to transcend the mind. And basically, we stop listening to the mind, we ignore it because it's nothing but trouble. Isn't there a song about that that I can sing for you, Michelle? Nothing but trouble. That must be trouble. That's not the song, but I had to throw something in there. But any case, and I shouldn't say it's nothing but trouble. When we listen to the mind, it can be trouble, and but at the same time, again, it can be useful, but not if we're looking to it as our source of intelligence, our source of creativity, our source of wisdom, our source of memory. All these things are actually beyond what the mind is, because again, what we all know is this body, this mind, will someday fade away, along with our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, our experiences. Someday all this will fade away. We have to look to that thing that will never fade away, that will never leave us, and cannot leave us. Because the truth is, you can never get rid of you. It's not possible. No more than you can get rid of God. It's like a fish trying to get rid of all the water. All the water is around God. It's a part of everything in the ocean. And the fish is asking, where is God? It's so enveloped in God that it can't see that God is within it, around it, and everywhere. That God is everything. And you are one. You are that creation, that truth. So yesterday when we had the meditation, which was very powerful for me personally, and I know Michelle, you've expressed that it was for you, and I'm guessing it probably was for everybody that listened to it yesterday. But one of the things that popped up for me, that popped up again this morning, is this idea that, we've mentioned the quote, I say by Eckhart Tolle, all the teachers say this, all the awakened teachers say the same thing. Stress is wanting life to be different than what it is. But what that led me to also was just like, you know, what is it that I'm not accepting in this moment? What is it that keeps me from just being in complete peace in this moment? And there is a part of me, and this isn't bad or wrong, it's actually wonderful that I've come to this recognition, and I'm just sharing this as an example for you. But I've come to this recognition that there's something that says, no, I'm not completely happy. There must be something more than what I'm experiencing. And I recognize that as a thought, but yet here it is still. So, what does one do with that? Well, we accept that we want more. We accept that we feel like something's missing. And the truth is, there's another part of me that is not the truth of who I am, by the way, another belief that I'm carrying, another story that I'm carrying that says, no, 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 no. I cannot accept that I can't accept life. So that part of me says, no, there's got to be something more. And then when I reflect on that, it's like, can I accept that? And the answer is no. I can't accept that. I want more. I want to experience, be one with God and experience the bliss of God. So then if I can't accept that, then the next choice is, can I accept that I can't accept that? Because there has to be peace in there, there has to be acceptance somewhere. And what I notice is there's another part of me that says, no, I can't accept that I can't accept it. That's not acceptable to me because I need to accept it to in order to be at peace. And then I back it up one more step, and this may sound confusing to you, but there has to be some acceptance somewhere along the line. Can I accept that I can't accept it and that I can't accept that? And yes, I can accept that I can't accept the unaccepted. I don't know if you'll get that or not. It's difficult to put into words, but you know what? Ultimately, it's having compassion for ourselves, is it not? It's about having compassion for when when we can't accept something, can we have compassion for our humanness to say, I see this is where my person is at, and can I just have compassion for my person? And the truth is, I can. I can have compassion for my person. I know my person wants more. I know my person thinks that there is something else out there that will bring happiness, but that is still just another story that I am perpetuating in some way. And it's okay. It's okay. We all do this. But when we when we are reflecting on our lives and just saying, I'm just not fully happy. I'm not fully at peace. I'm not fully experiencing the joy that I want to experience right now. Um, to become aware of that is really, first of all, very good because it's like, the 12-step program. The only way to heal in the 12-step program is, first of all, to admit that there's a problem. What is the problem? The problem is that there's something that we're wanting that we're to be different than what it is. Can we accept that? Yes or no? And be honest. Don't try to convince yourself. It's not like you're gonna, you know, um, pull the wool over the eyes of your true self or of God. So there's no sense being dishonest about it, but if you see things that you can't accept, just to have compassion for that and just to have an awareness of that and take responsibility for that is the beginning of healing it. That's the beginning of 12 step, to recognize that there is a problem and a desire and a willingness to move beyond that problem, and to know that there's a greater power, that can assist us with that. We don't need to know the answers. We don't need to know one single answer, because the truth is, all the answers, all the solutions, all the creativity we need will be provided in right and divine timing, always. But our mind wants to know the answer now. I need to know that answer right now. I can't wait. I need this now. And so I invite you when that happens to simply be aware of that and just notice it, not make it bad or wrong. Don't fight against it. Just notice it. Yesterday, I was talking to a neighbor, and he was just going through the struggle. He was going through this struggle of these people that she had been trying to work for, and this lady has been called her a loser, and because she won't agree to work on the terms for this person that the person's wanting, and she's so stressed, and she says she has so much anxiety. And I said, why do you have so much anxiety about this? She said, well, this person keeps pursuing me, and I don't want them to pursue me. And I'm like, well, just, a friend of hers said, block them from texting you. And she's like, well, I don't want to be mean. I'm like, that's just taking good care of yourself. It's not about being mean. And then, so she went on, and her story was perpetuating. And turns out she's not clear. She's not clear that she kind of does want to work there, but she doesn't like what's being offered. I said, well, let her know what your terms are. If you can do this, this, and this, then I'd be happy to work for you, you know? Um, but it was just so interesting how she said this lady is like trying to break her down. And I'm like, so she can't break you down unless you're allowing this whole situation to continue on. And, it's really tough for her to see. And she saw this woman as being the source of her problem. I said, no, no, she is not the source of your problem. She's highlighting a problem within you that, first of all, is making her the problem. And the problem is never, never, ever, 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 ever outside of ourselves. Our mind wants to make the problem be something else, someone else, or something else. And consequently, we can never, ever become peaceful if the problem is outside of ourselves. Please hear that. We can never be fully at peace and joy and love if we make the problem outside of ourselves. How do we take, not do that? By taking 100% responsibility that everything you see around you, everything is your projections and your creations to bring you exactly what you need to experience. Now, yesterday when I'm speaking with this person, I noticed my mind was like, feeling like, well, this is kind of dramatic. She's playing a victim. And I noticed I had a little bit of judgment that came up with it. Well, guess what? That is not her problem. That is my problem. And sometimes we do this, right? We hear somebody like talking about a problem, and then we think that they are a problem because they're complaining, they're whining, they're a victim, whatever it is. Now we've made them the problem. We're doing the same exact thing. So I recognized that, I let that go, and then I was really there for her to really listen to her. And I said, you're not angry at her. You're angry with yourself that you're allowing her to control you, to manipulate you. You can be at peace right now in this very moment by just letting this whole thing go. Stop making it be about her, because if you're waiting for her to change, then she may never change and you may never be at peace and happy because she has not changed. And then I said, and by the way, even if she does change, what has changed within you? Because there are another million people just like her in the world. Are you going to change every single one of them as well? And it clicked with her and she got it. And then so I could still see that she was wavering about blocking this person because she didn't want to be mean and she liked this person. And I said, this isn't a personal thing. You have asked her to stop texting you, and she's still texting you. She's just not accepting what your boundaries are, and that's okay. It's not about her. What are you going to do about that? And all you need to do is block her. And that has nothing to do about being mean. It's about taking good care of yourself, filling yourself up so that you can support others from a place of fullness. Because she said, well, I want to help this person out. Like, how are you helping her if you are depleted? And so this is some of the games that we play. And when we're not satisfied with how things are going, this is the primary reason why our mind gets busy and we can't live in the present moment, right? Because if we're not happy with something, immediately, straight away, we're going to get in our heads trying to figure out the problem as if the mind knows what the answer is. And even if it provides some kind of solution, I assure you it is only temporary because it is not rooted in the wisdom and truth of who you are. And so you might have temporary peace, temporary joy, temporary love, but you will never have a sustaining peace, joy, and love because the mind will always come from a place of judgment and duality. Sometimes when I say things, I recognize that I'm talking about, stop looking to the mind. But what's also true is when after the meditation or some other point in time and we're looking to the mind, we can be hard on ourselves to say, oh my God, Brett said, stop looking to the mind. I'm looking to the mind. That's just another thought. Just be aware of that thought. Yeah, but I shouldn't be hard on myself. I should be compassionate to myself. I shouldn't be beating myself up. Another thought. Can you simply notice that thought? Not make it bad or wrong. Just allow it to pass on by and come back to the present moment. Come back to being aware of your breath or whatever brings you back to the present moment. We get caught in all these traps. I should be doing that and I should be doing this. And when we don't do it, then we say, even if it's spiritual or even if it's loving, like, oh, I wasn't being kind, I wasn't being loving, I wasn't being compassionate. So then what happens is because our mind says, well, I shouldn't be doing that. I should have been more loving. Now we're judging ourselves for not being more loving. And it's this vicious cycle that we're in. So we beat ourselves up for beating ourselves up. And that never ends in a good way. It never does. Right now, I just invite you just to take another deep breath in because I know that sometimes when I'm sharing these things, it can stir the pot within your mind, within your person. And when the pot gets stirred, it's not that all of a sudden I'm bringing stress. It's that some of the times these things, these words, highlight the stress that is already there. And sometimes on our journey, we, that kind of fell away. So let me see if that comes back. Just let that go. And if it needs to come back, it will. If it doesn't, it won't. And I'm noticing my mind now. Oh man, I wanted to share that, and I notice the attachment that I have to sharing it. So I notice in wanting and having my attachment for it coming back, then I'm getting in my mind. So the only way for it to truly come back is to really let go of my mind solving the problems. And that means truly letting go of whether it comes back or not, truly letting it go. Letting go of my attachment that it needs to be shared, and trusting and having faith that it will be shared in right and divine timing. Sometimes when I'm speaking, either in the meditation or particularly when I'm doing my inspirational talks, I lose the words that I was going to say. And I don't know if it's like the Holy Spirit intentionally having me lose them because it wasn't the right thing to say, or giving this experience to help me to come to a place of peace with losing it. And so a couple years ago, I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, it was definitely prior to COVID, that I got up on the stage, and 3 weeks in a row I just lost my place. I got distracted, and part of it because I had a fear that popped up in my head, and in when that fear popped up, immediately I lost the present moment. I stepped out of the present moment, and the words that were flowing through stopped flowing completely, and I looked like a deer in headlights, standing up there, kind of like, just with my jaw open. No, my jaw wasn't open, but it's that kind of image that I'm giving you. And I was terrified. And most probably all speakers can tell you that it is the most terrifying thing of when you all of a sudden that what you are presenting just falls off and everything stops. And you're kind of horrified. Why? You're horrified because you have an attachment to how the talk goes, and you want it to look a certain way, and you want people to approve of you and think you're a good speaker. That is all about building a false foundation. And so the second time when it happened, I was able to notice it, and I shared with people. I'm like, I lost my place. Can you just be with me in the silence for a moment? And it was still scary, but it wasn't terrifying. And the third week that it happened, I was able to at least somewhat literally laugh about it and say, well, it looks like I've lost my place once again. And evidently, this is up for me. And I just flowed with it. And that is life sometimes, right? Life will highlight those things that are already there. And we've just came full circle to the thing that I forgot is like the things that are presented in life sometimes we think like, man, I thought I healed that, or this work I'm doing is actually making me feel like things are getting worse. But the truth is, and this is what I wanted to come to, and it came back around, it's not. And I notice a fear that came up again. It's like, uh-oh, am I losing it again? So you know what? It's okay. It's okay, but I actually think I have it here. But this is just an example of what happens. But when life presents itself sometimes as we're doing this work, we're like, man, this is making things worse. But the truth is, it's not making things worse. It's highlighting something that you simply were not aware of before. And that is the message that was trying to come through and has finally come through. It's like, it's not that it is making things worse, it's that you've come to a level of conscious awareness of things that you simply weren't aware of before. And so, the more conscious and aware that you become, the more that you raise your vibration into love, it will highlight things that are not in alignment with love, not in alignment with peace and joy and your true self and God. And sometimes it becomes more subtle and more subtle. just the energy to come to this place for me of being aware that it feels like something is missing. And my mind wants to judge that as bad or wrong. Well, there is something missing. Why aren't I more happy? Why aren't I living as an enlightened being right now? What's going on? What is preventing me from? So, my attachment to this drives me towards my mind. My mind gets busier and busier. And what I have found works best for me is to notice and be aware of the thought, be aware of the feelings that come with the thought, not making any of it bad or wrong, and notice the attachment that I have to it as well. Just notice it. And maybe it brings up pain. Maybe it brings up pain, which ultimately behind that pain is some kind of fear. What if I don't return home to the truth of who I am? What if that life never gets better than this? What if life never gets better than this? And right now, in this moment, I actually don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that because I feel that there is something for me to simply be present with, some kind of fear, some kind of anxiety, some kind of attachment that I have, wanting life to be different than what it is. And because there's a part of me that can't accept that, then what I offer to myself, I offer to you, is can I simply be present with my need, my desire, my attachment to wanting life to be different than what it is? And when some part of me says, no, I have to have this different than what it is, I cannot be happy to have it otherwise, then to be present with that pain, just to be present with that pain. And just to say, thank you, Father. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that you have brought this awareness of this pain with me. I know that you have brought this awareness of this fear within me. I know that you have brought this attachment and desire for something to be different than what it is. And I thank you for that because I know you are highlighting something within me that is not at peace. And that too is absolutely perfect. And I know my mind wouldn't agree with it, and that's perfect too. It's okay. The mind doesn't have to agree with you. Please hear that. The mind does not have to agree with you. We get in fights with the mind all the time, and then we get into the self talk. And like my neighbor yesterday, she's like, yeah, I know I'm being hard on myself, and I try to let myself know that, it's okay, and, and they're doing the best they can. And we get into this self-talk trying to correct the situation, but the self-talk is actually empowering the thoughts as if they're real in the first place. And this is what I was expressing to her. Why are you having a conversation with the thoughts? Are you your thoughts? Are they real? Because if they're real, then okay, you have all the conversations you want with them, but they're eventually going to pass away. And if they are real and if they are who you are, then you must come and go just like they do. But there's something beyond the coming and going as to who you are. Something that never fades, something that never diminishes, something that is the eternally you, has always been you, will always be you. And that cannot be the thoughts because those all come and go. What is it that doesn't come and go? So if you get in an argument or a conversation with the thoughts, you are only going to make them more powerful. You are going to empower them as if they're real in the first place, and they are not. So just coming back to the present moment. There's nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do other than just be here now. It is enough. You are enough. But I'm not here to convince you or persuade you of that truth. I am here to support you in directing you to things, ideas, concepts, self images, stories that are blocking you from recognizing that you are enough. And in that awareness of those thoughts, those beliefs, those feelings, when you recognize those and recognize that you are not those, then something greater reveals itself as to who you are. And so I am just helping to highlight, that's all. I'm just helping to highlight things that are askew within you, around you. Actually, things that are not in harmony of in your life, and to see that those two are just stories, and the more you can let go of those stories, the more you can return home and see for yourself that you are whole, that you are complete, and that you have everything you need to be at peace, in joy, in love, and with God right now in this moment. You know, it's hard to describe my experience with God, and I don't know what your experience is, but one time, as I was starting to connect with God and feel the subtleness of God, that God was within me and around me. And then I was going through a challenge, and I had this belief that God has left me. Where is God? God has left me. And I believed I was separate from God in that moment. And it was a very painful moment. It was a very painful moment, but it was also very, very enlightening. Because when I felt and believed I was separate and disconnected from God, that was the experience that I was having. I was blocked. I was having the experience of being blocked from knowing that God is within me and around me and is everywhere. It's again like the fish looking for water. It doesn't know that it's there. Sometimes the fish might have to jump out of the water to recognize that it was in the water the whole time. And that's true for us sometimes too, that we have to go through this separation with God sometimes to see that God was with us the whole time. And that's what happened for me. It's like it felt so painful to feel that separateness from God because I had been experiencing it. And then all of a sudden it was pulled away from me, or I thought it was. I believed it was pulled away from me. And when I came back, oh my God, thank God. And there was this deep gratitude to know that God is with me and God is with you and God walks with us at all times. We cannot avoid God being with us. We can only fall into false beliefs that would have us believe otherwise. So just coming back to this moment, this present moment, maybe coming back, if your mind is still, coming back to the stillness or coming back to the silence, or just being aware of your breath is wonderful. You know, I talk about this sometime, but one of the beautiful things about the breath is The body is breathing, whether you're conscious and aware of it or not. The body is just doing what it needs to do to survive. And it doesn't need you to do anything. It happens all by itself. Even when you're sleeping, when you're not thinking about it, when you're not conscious and aware of it, your body is breathing. And so, one of the beautiful things about using the breath is because there is literally no trying, no effort, no doing required. And when we are beyond the trying, the effort, and the doingness, it allows us to simply be. It allows us to simply be in the beingness, to be in the just the isness of life. What is the isness of life? It is that place where there's no trying, doing, or any effort, and there's no needing life to be any different than what it is. And in that beingness, in that isness, it's like we're not dragging the past, and we're not dragging the beliefs of the mind and the stories of the person into this moment. There is just a pure isness. Life just is. And it's that isness, by the way, that is completely beyond anything physical. There is nothing physical about the isness or the pure beingness. It doesn't require anything. It doesn't mean that you can't have this body supporting you, but it also means a recognition that you are the one that is beyond the body. We think that our soul is contained within the body. That is a falsity, a myth. Life exists whether the body is here or not. It just so happens, though, that life and God have given you this physical manifest experience so that you can go through your separation with God. You can go through this illusion that you are the body, this illusion that you are a mind, all these illusions and stories, so that you can have a recognition of who you are not, and that you can have a gratitude and recognition for who you are. And so sometimes I know I talk that the mind is such a bad thing, but the mind is fully a part of this experience to bring you all these thoughts and feelings and experiences and perceptions of the experiences, so that you can see that you are not that, and that you can return home to this beauty and truth that is beyond anything physical. It's funny, it just strikes me. I know I've said these words probably hundreds and hundreds of times. I truly don't know how many times I've said it. And yet, here you are, and here I am, needing to experience these words, needing to hear these words over and over again. And it's not just about the words. It's about the vibration that comes through. It's about helping to us to have a deeper understanding, a deeper awareness of who we are not, so that we may continue to let go of all that nonsense and craziness that we have bought into as if it's the truth of who we are. But it's that nonsense and craziness and all those stories, the self-image, the personality of who we think we are. It's all of those things that block us from recognizing that we are not that. We are the one that is beyond that, the non physical, pure beingness, pure isness that is beyond those things. because we are not a thing. We are no thing, nothing. And we are nobody, nobody. When I'm in that place of just flowing with life, and I just keep feeling more and more gratitude for everything, literally for everything. And something that I love being reminded of that is coming up for right now is that we were meant to go through struggles and pain because it's these struggles and pain that call us, that inspire us to dig deeper and to say, why is this happening, Father? How do I return to a place of happiness? How do I be rooted in my heart? How do I awaken to the truth of who I am? And it's this pain and struggle that inspires us to look in that direction. But what's also true, and this is the part that I need to hear, is we get to have fun along the way. We get to experience the joy of the journey. And I've shared this before with my friend Michelle. I'm sure is on here right now. She joins every single day. I'm so grateful for you. And we don't see each other much, but I am clear the teacher that you are for me, that you live life in such joy. And I watch your posts on Facebook, how you're always just doing things that are fulfilling to you and you're having fun and yet you're still doing your spiritual work. You are truly my teacher, and I thank you for that. My wife, Laura, is my teacher, and she's always up for doing something fun. And ultimately, let me just say this, ultimately, true joy will never ever come from the doingness. It will be rooted in the pure beingness of who we are. But it doesn't mean that we can't experience joy along the way to do things that are fulfilling to us. This meditation is fulfilling to me. I really enjoy doing these meditations. It's not, I don't say, oh, geez, I need to do my meditation. No, I enjoy doing these meditations. I will also say this, though. This is also my truth. I am not enjoying these meditations as much as when I first started. Why? Because there's something that is feeling more complete with it. And I don't know how much longer I will do these. I'm going to do a retreat that's coming up the end of August, and that feels incredibly satisfying for me. I love the retreats. They're so fulfilling for me, and I see how fulfilling they are for others. And I plan on doing more of those because it is indeed so fulfilling. So to find those things that we do that are fulfilling to us, and there is something for everyone out there, something that God is inspiring you to take action on. And sometimes we get caught in the fear of, well, I need to go back to school, I don't have enough money, and we let the mind infiltrate us with these fears rather than saying, look, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to create this. I just know that this is what I want and choose to do. And when I say that, for me, what do I want and choose to do? I want to write my book. I want to write my book. I want to travel to different places speaking, and I want to lead workshops at those places to help people to awaken to the truth of who they are, that they can see this perfection and this beauty and this freedom that they already are, that you already are, that I am already. That's what I want to do. And I don't need to know how to get there. In fact, even as we speak, I am being inspired to dig deeper and put take action on these things, that I'm on fire right now. I I have to take action on these things. It's this truly satisfying thing that's going on for me as I'm setting up all these things in my life that I feel are so fulfilling. What is that thing for you? What is that thing for you? And if you don't know, then I invite you right now just to say to God, Father, or whatever your terms are, Father, help me to find that thing that is fulfilling to me, that is part of my path of awakening to the truth of who I am. Direct me, guide me, steer me, put me in the right place. And I put my trust and faith, and have trust and faith that God is doing this for you. When you put it out to God, it is being heard. And to have trust and faith that you will be guided. And maybe fears come up that, again, I don't have enough money, not enough time. I need to go, this needs to happen, that needs to happen, and I don't want to do that. Ask God to remove all the obstacles that block you from choosing that which is most fulfilling to you. And that is enough. When I do life coaching with people, that is the number one thing that always pops up for me as I hone in. What is it that you want out of life? And a lot of times they'll do external, well, I want to, spend more time with my grandkids. I want to spend more time traveling. And it's all these external things. There's nothing wrong with external things, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, but it's never going to lead you to the full truth of who you are. So we have to look beyond the external pleasures and say, lead me to that thing that inspire me to get that right job, or to and it can be external. It's a bit of a dichotomy, because on one hand, the external pleasures are temporary, but also there is something that we need to take action on, right? Unless you want to be a monk in the cave, there's some kind of action that's required for you to take in order to lock into that thing that is most fulfilling to you, of whether it's meditation, artwork, music, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Ask God to put you in the right place, and then trust that that will happen. Okay, I want to leave some time for meditating in silence. So, right now, I just invite you just to come back to this present moment, and come back to whatever your focal point is, the silence, the stillness, the breath. Just be present in this moment. And if there's any stress, anxiety, worries, or fears, or any of that, just letting it all go, at least for the rest of this meditation. And if your mind has drifted, just simply come back to the present, back home to the truth of who you are. Okay, it's 11:01, so we're gonna bring the meditation to completion. If you'd like to continue meditating, uh, you can mute or turn your device off. And thank you for being here for the meditation. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. For those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath, bringing energy and life into this body, and just making sure we're rooted and grounded in this body, and just wiggling your fingers, your toes, stretching, whatever brings you fully back into this physical form. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. Okay, well, let me shoot over to Facebook here and okay, well, let me shoot over to Facebook. Well, I can't tell you how happy I am about the audio, you guys. So happy about that. Okay, let's see here. Yes, musical notes for me singing, Michelle, right? And a kiss. Thank you for that. I'm glad to have you here, Michelle. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Marianne, thank you. Brett, you're welcome, my friend. So glad you're able to join more and more lately. I'm really grateful for that. And let's see. And Laura, you've been enjoying a lot too. Laura Westerland. I've been asking the universe what it is trying to give me. This question brings me peace. Good, good, yes. Yeah, it's a great question, and then trust and have faith that, it will be answered. And okay. So let me shoot over to, and there's somebody else out there who maybe doesn't want to say hi. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. I just want to acknowledge you. You don't have to reveal yourself. Um, let's see. Let me go over to YouTube here. And let's see, Sandy, enriched teachings. I felt everything you were allowing to come through to us. Thank you, and sounds good. Yeah, sounds good, right? Thank you for the other. Good, good. I'm happy. Sandy, I was hoping you might be able to join for the retreat this go around too. It'd be lovely to have you there. That's not a push, just an invitation. So, um, any case, lastly, you guys. I'm going to probably mention this a few times right now. I am taking donations now. That is not a push in any sense of the imagination. I just legitimately need to claim that I'm doing that now for myself to get comfortable with that as well. So if you'd like to donate, you can go to Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Any of those is fine. So, any case, it can be a daily or a weekly or a monthly thing, or it cannot be at all. Honestly, I much rather have you be here for my meditation. As God is my witness, I'd much rather have you be here for the meditation than to stop coming because I'm asking for donations, or not even asking. I'm just inviting you to donate. So please don't mistake my invitation for don't leave me, okay? Don't leave me for if it's a money thing, okay? Any case, so that's it, you guys. I'm grateful for having you here. Have yourselves a beautiful weekend. And by the way, I'm gonna put a donation on my website. But if you haven't visited my website, it's called um, Mindful Meditation Services. Mindful Meditation Services. And I'm going to be doing more work on that coming up, as well as working on my book, working on the retreat. I'm going to set up a introduction to meditation in probably a week and a half or so. I got a whole lot of things going on, and I'm super excited about it. So thank you again, all of you. Have a blessed weekend, and namaste.